What's going on, fishy friends, and welcome to the Fishing Corner. I am your host, Grant Elliott, and we are sponsored by Old School Tackle Company, who will be providing the prize for question of the night tonight. But we are moving back to my backyard to cover the mid-Chesapeake Bay fishing, and we're going to specifically talk about winter fishing tonight. But we are joined by the master of the Mid-Bay himself, Walleye Pete, and also tonight, Junior Fish on Jimenez of the Passion of Fishing YouTube channel. And in Spanish, he always compliments my pronunciation. It would be La Pasión de Pesca, right?
There you go. There you go. You got it right, buddy. You got that one right. Yep.
That's right, man. Everyone, I use Spanish in my day-to-day job, but none of it's ever correct. And Junior, you're always so nice to not correct me when we're fishing together. But it looks like he may have frozen up. But how are you doing tonight, Pete?
I'm good. I know zero Spanish. There he is.
You know some Spanish. You know what does hola mean, Pete?
Hola, hola. Hello, I think.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know a word.
A little bit. Uno, dos, tres, cuatros, cincos,
I
denios.
was thinking of the numbers. 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Yep.
But Junior, welcome to the channel. Pete's an old hand at this. But before we get any further, Junior, tell us about yourself. You know, how you got into fishing, what keeps you going fishing every day, and then actually let's do that first, and then we'll get into your YouTube channel.
All right. First, thanks for inviting me. All this started like probably, I don't know, 12 years ago. I'm gonna try to, do the story short. I was thinking, I fish like as I started fishing like 12 years ago for perch and all that from the bank. All these parks we have like on the Glen Burnie area, like Downs Park, for Smallwood Park, that. And one time I just decided to, buy a GoPro. My ex-wife, she bought me a GoPro, and I was okay, with this GoPro, I'm going to record my adventures with my kids to have good memories and all that. I never think on YouTube and all that. But I discovered that I can post these videos on YouTube private. That means I was the only one who was able to watch those videos. At the first, I didn't know how to use YouTube and all that. So I started posting my adventures, my fishing adventures with my kids. And I didn't know how to put these videos private, so they were public. So all these people, I started getting comments from local videos, keep posting videos, and that's how I ended up being like YouTuber. But yeah, I started, from the bank fishing for perch, for fun, for spot. I learned from another fishermen how to target rockfish, with the basics, your fish finder rig, your bunker, bloodworms, and all that. Um, a couple times actually, some subscribers, they people who watch my videos, they invite me to fish with them from a boat. Something new for me. And I remember this. The first time that I went, I was on a boat. These guys, they were like joking and laughing. How you feel? You're okay? You're fine? You need those pills, how do they call them? The
Oh
how
no.
that way those pills help you to get to for the seasick or something like that. They were like concerned about me. Uh, uh, they don't want me to get like seasick. So I was fine the whole time. And the end of the day, this guy told me, if you do totally fine today, so you're gonna be fine, the rest of the trips on the water and all that. And I remember that because experience the seasickness. I never had that before, so I don't know. He was right the first time.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Grant.
What's
Here's
up?
here's something. I had not fished with Junior until just not that long ago,
Right.
and I had seen Junior on the internet a lot. He's a super nice guy, and people had nothing but good things to say about him. But I didn't know what he could do with a fishing pole. So every time anybody gets on my boat, I'm always paying attention. I want to know if they understand what I'm telling them, and I can tell that by what they're doing with their rod. And Junior, whether it had been shallow water or deep water or detecting bottom or whatever it took, Junior was all over it on my boat the first time he was ever on a boat. So he's got it, that's for sure. So Junior, wherever he started, whatever he did, whatever he learned, however he did it, on a boat with a jig and with lures, Junior has it. He
I
has
appreciate,
it. So
I appreciate
super
that.
good on my boat.
I appreciate that, Pete. I probably say, I've been learning from different anglers, from different people.
Yep,
Um, yeah,
that's
I
good.
like to fish with different people. I enjoy a lot when I have new people, new anglers,
Hmm.
and if
Yep,
they I know they're good, I like to fish with them because you
yep.
learn you learn a lot about a
Well,
lot from another anglers, and that's
Oh,
what I mean.
Junior,
absolutely, you do.
Junior, I got to ask you something.
I do too. Yep.
When you fished with Pete, how many times did he yell at you? Sorry,
Oh
sorry,
my
sorry,
God.
sorry. How many times did he coach you?
I don't think he needed it.
I don't. I mean, he was very cool guy. I mean, he treated
There
me
you
very
go.
well. I was, yeah.
Oh,
Probably he was totally fine. He was.
That's how most people describe Pete.
Grant
He's a cool
Grant
guy.
screws up a lot. So if he's on my boat, I gotta coach him more than guys that are like you. I don't have to coach you because you're putting it to him, and I didn't have to
Yeah.
adjust you at all. Where Grant, holy heck, I
I,
gotta
I
I gotta do all kinds of stuff with him.
I think the first time I fished with Pete, I heard the 6 foot rule a lot. I got
4
told I
foot,
handled
man,
a
4 foot.
loaded gun. I
Yeah.
on my boat. I was like,
No, I mean, he told me
man,
that. Something with me, I forgot stuff a lot for some reason, but I remember those rules. Yeah, he told me that too. But um, that trip was amazing. It was my first time. I've been following P for a long time. He's a great angler. I mean, one of the best guides. And I was very excited just to be on the boat with him. He proposed me stuff. He proposed me some things. Try this, try that, cast there. Go on the front, and it was a good trip. Definitely, it was a nice trip. Yeah.
yeah. So I think Pete may have had we lost Pete for a moment. Um, but while Pete's coming back, uh, Junior, you have a lot. I mean, I've been doing the YouTube thing for a while, but good grief, you have a lot of subscribers, and I know we've got some guys that do some YouTube right now. Actually, right on the chat, we've got Sam with Outdoors in Maryland. We've got um, Scott with Lucky and Blessed. We've got Colin with Big Yak Your Fishing. Give these guys, maybe a little bit of hints. I mean, first of all, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
Um, 14K in one of my biggest page, 14K subscribers, and I have another one, the channel where I start with all this YouTube stuff, and I have like 3K on that one. I left that one
So,
years ago. I
so you
stopped
add them
posting.
all up. We're getting pretty close to 20,000, right?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Can you
Ah,
give, and guys, tonight for the question of the night, you know, Pete's obviously a a fishing guru, and Junior knows how to hold a fishing pole too. But in terms of questions on YouTube, I think tonight's a great night to do that because, uh, if you have questions about growing your channel, this would be a
I
great night
think
to ask them.
I, I think I have a good tip for this for our anglers who, like you said, they want to grow up on YouTube and all that. I think the biggest thing or something that helps me a lot growing my channel is tutorials.
Hmm.
Trying to teach people how to do stuff, not just go out and fish and show fish to the people. People want to learn. People want to know how you catch the fish, what lure, what color, the line, leaders, tutorials. Rigs for trout, for any species. I think the thing with my channel is that I fish for anything. And the whole year. Even perch, yellow perch, white perch, your trout, pickerel, bass, anything. And I just go. I'm not just post fishing videos. In every video, I show people how, or at least give them some tips to to get better on the fishing. Tutorials, tutorials help a lot. Yeah.
As we have a couple of questions rolling in, just as a reminder, this show is pretty much driven on audience questions. So go ahead and start answering your questions, asking your questions now, and we'll answer them as they come in. Um, but Pete, glad to have you back.
My phone rang and then you disappeared. So
It happens. It happens.
yeah.
We do have a question coming in, and I think I'll let you handle this one, Pete. Fig asks, while fishing, how often and how important is it to change lures, jig head weights, and plastic sizes, as well as colors?
Well, I'll start with colors first. So my rule of thumb is low light. I like darker colors. A lot of guys come to on my in the winter. I get a lot of great anglers that bring their own gear. Todd Hitchcock and Fig himself and Sam and those guys. They bring really dark colors. They'll have a little sparkles in them maybe, but dark colors. And then in sun, we like bright color like chartreuse, silk chartreuse BKD, chartreuse glitter. And then, white is a color that tends to work often, but at low light, early in the morning, I definitely like, purple glitter or a darker, like a purple or whatever. I like that. So color, that's what I like. My thing keeps falling down. What's the other part of it? Change in lures. Now, Fig is a lure changing freak. I'm more of a how you put it and where you put it kind of guy. Fig is if he's not catching, he's changing lures. But many times I think it's because we either don't have fish under the boat, or if the fish are suspended, he might not be putting the lure to the fish, but he changes lures a lot. So if they're dead to the bottom, then I like it when he goes to his metal because he will detect bottom and work it low right on the bottom. And that's a good way to go when the fish are tight to the bottom. When they're suspended, Fig's metal works good too, but definitely Sam will sling a plastic and Todd will sling a plastic and just crush it when the fish is suspended. You got to visualize where those fish are in the water column when you see them on your fish finder. And you got to get past them and you got to pull up through them with good sharp twitch. Any good angler, any good guide is going to instruct his anglers to put a good twitch on it without putting slack in the line. You won't see guys catching fish at the power plant or out in the main stem of the bay, barely moving the rod. So it's all about putting the bait where the fish is, also matching the hatch. Fig, if you're using a 10-incher, but they're eating peanut bunker, then you need to change your bait to a smaller bait, either a 6-inch plastic or or any plastic that's smaller than a 10-inch. So I would go 5 or 6-inchers, a 6-inch BKD, a 5-inch Z-Man, paddles. Those are all great stuff. So that's it. That's the question there. So I don't change a whole lot unless I got to change to put the fish or to put the bait where the fish is. You got to put the bait where the fish is. A storm shad is a beautiful bait, but it's not going to get down 60 feet. You'll have to twiddle your thumbs and do the jig while you're waiting for your lure to get down, and then you'll never be to the fish. So a storm shad wouldn't be good when the fish are down low. When they're up high, everything's great up high if you work it quick or use the storm shaft or popper, of course. But anyway, that's the answer to that.
Reminder to our guest, we do question of the night every night. So here's how we're going to do it tonight. Pete, remember the best question for you. I'll do one, and then we're going to let Junior, choose between which one of ours is going to be the winner.
Okay.
Right. Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, and we already have some questions coming in related to growing your YouTube channel, which I think is pretty cool and kind of the special of having someone like you tonight, Junior. We are going to get into winter fishing, and in the teaser for this video, I promised that the bite is about to get hot, and Pete may disagree with me or Junior may disagree with me, but I think I've been doing this long enough to pick out when the bite's going to get hot during the winter. But we'll get to that in a second. That's a teaser on that. Shore Sharp asked, what's your channel name?
So, La Pasión por la Pesca. I'll post a lot of videos from, some different states. Like sometimes I fish New Jersey, New York, Ocean City, Virginia, and all that. But my channel is basically on Spanish. I have some comments saying that I don't have to understand what you're saying. I just want to see how you fish and all that, But yeah, La Pasión por la Pesca basically is like the passion of fishing, but in Spanish. I don't know if I can write it down in here. Oh yeah, he got it. Oh yeah, you got that one right. Yep, La Pasión por la Pesca.
I think one of the things you do really well on your channel, Junior, that I've noticed is it does definitely cater to a Spanish-speaking audience, but you also translate everything into English as well. So really, whether you speak English or Spanish, you can get a lot of value out of your content.
Oh yeah, I'll try. And another thing that I like to do on my channel is trying to teach the Spanish community about the rules and all that. I always share like reports once a month on my channel. I like to follow all these striper regulation and give my people updates and how they gonna. So sometimes they change the regulations every year and all that. So I try to show and share that on my channel to them. That way, just trying to educate the people, about the fishing and all the rules.
Yeah, man,
All
that's
that
super
stuff.
important. Like, Pete, can you imagine going down to Mexico and trying to follow the regulations when all the rules are in Spanish?
No. Hey, going to the
That
Gulf of
was
Mexico, there was about 1 billion different rules.
that was
So
a great
yeah,
example. Grant. Yeah, that was a great example.
but
Yeah.
they were in English though.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's see. We have a question for others. Oh yeah, here we go. Scott with Lucky and Blessed Fishing asked, video question for Junior. Are you doing any 360 video? I have a camera. He just hasn't made the jump to 360.
Actually, no. I never tried that before. I don't even know how that works. The thing, like I said, with YouTube, for at least for me, it's just like sharing my adventures, my fishing adventures, but teaching people on how to do stuff. I know you have a lot of probably cool videos on YouTube about like with the drone and all that, like the 360, like he says. But I'm just just basic YouTuber. I'm not really into all that.
Yeah, he's a basic YouTuber with almost 20,000 subscribers. You're
like
not
I
too
said,
basic, brother.
like I
That's
said,
good stuff.
something that it helps a lot is just trying to teach the people on how to do stuff.
Yeah. Scott,
Yeah.
I'll try to help as much as I can. my understanding of a 360 camera is obviously it's shooting 360 degrees around.
Yeah.
So I don't think most people, when they post a video, are showing that 360 degree view, because it's like, it literally is like a fish bowl, but you can take out pieces, right? So you don't miss any content. So for example, if I had a 360 camera on and this picture behind me, let's see if I can point to it, right? If that dog is catching a fish with its mouth, I could catch that action and I wouldn't miss it. So I think that's one of the biggest advantages. I hope I didn't, oversimplify that too much. Scott with Lucky and Blessed Fishing asks a question for Pete: are the big girls still around, and where can I drop my kayak to hook up?
Oh boy. Well, big girls still around. Well, that's a good question. I haven't had any big girls lately. I do know that there's been some caught recently, but it was deep water. It was 50 to 70 feet. And, it was not a bird thing either. So it was an electronics thing. Currently, it's a difficult gig right now out there. Now, if you got a warm water discharge, you can put your kayak to, there's a chance. But, the warm water discharge I fish, is not consistent and reliable. It happens sometimes and it doesn't happen. So, as far as the kayak thing goes right now, I would a little while from now, I'll bet that up north in the bay, up near the Susky and that region will start to fire up. But I don't know that. So I wish I could tell you exactly where to go, but not exactly an easy gig. This is a tough time right now.
Colin was telling me the other day, Pete, that he plans on taking his kayak to the Calvert Cliffs nuclear power plant. And I tried vehemently to discourage him from doing that. Could you help me out and tell this dude not to do that?
Well, if it's there's to do it. I don't know where he's going to put in at. I live in the neighborhood, and it's all the access is passes only. You could get towed, and then there is Flag Pond Nature Park, which you'd have to push your thing. You'd have to you'd have to get your kayak to the water. I don't know how far it is, but as far as on the water goes, I mean it's a dangerous gig there. So if you had to go, if you had to, you got to do it on a westerly, southwesterly wind. But I definitely don't recommend it. You get up in there, and it's I've seen two guys fall over in their kayaks out there, which
Wow.
isn't a pretty thing. So it's definitely dangerous in a kayak. But it would have to be flat, calm, south or southwest to west wind would be the premier wind to fish on. And if you had to do it, but yeah, like Grant says, probably not the greatest of ideas.
Yeah,
So,
I did it, and so I can't make fun of you too much.
talking
But
about that, I'm not sure if that's right or not, but I hear before that this time of the year you can fish for these big stripers up on the Susquehanna on the flats. I mean, a lot of people I think do that on this time of the year from kayaks too.
I think the water's got to warm up just a bit.
right.
I got
That
you.
you
Okay,
can fish all you want, but I don't know if you're going to catch right yet.
I got you.
It is possible. Anything's possible. If the sun is shining and it warms up the shallow water, it could happen. There's no doubt about it, especially in the afternoon.
Yeah, and Pete, I'll have to agree with you. Especially for a kayaker right now, it's a tough gig because, and here's the teaser that I was given earlier. We have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All those days are supposed to be over 50 degrees. Now, Thursday, we might get a tiny little uptick in water temperature. But in the winter, and Pete, I want you to chime in on this as well. In the winter, if you have several warm days consecutively, there's really a good shot after 3 or 4 of those days for that water temperature to jump up 3 or 4 degrees, and you can actually get a very good fishing day. I think those big fish are still here. I think they're very dormant because of cold water. And I think if in these next 5 days, if that water can get up and around 42, 43, the bite is going to fire off.
The thing that comes to my mind this time of year when we're going to go through a warmer streak, uh, and I don't know if this is even close to right or not, but historically over the last, what year is it, 24? So, and I've been wandering around the bay for 25 years or so. But anyway, in the winter when things warm up, it seems like microorganisms might move up in the water column. That sun might warm things up a bit. The food chain moves up. The birds can locate. The fish come up with the bait, and then the birds can show us the way. When the birds don't show us the way, it's very difficult. You can run all day and hardly see anything. What I've been seeing lately is bait fish 50 to 60 feet down, and not in balls, but just in a layer scattered out, and rarely do you see a fish in it. That's what's mostly going on. But when it seems like when things warm up, the bait moves up in the water column and might ball up, and then that brings the life with it, and the birds can get onto it, and things can happen. So it's very good chance that you could catch. But what you got to do, nobody knows where they're going to be. If they say they do know, they might get lucky, or they might be 50 miles north or south. Um, you got to get out and run your boat, and you got to look for clues. Clues, just birds, a few birds
Sitting,
sitting as a clue.
sitting on the
Uh,
water. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Just sitting there as a clue. Obviously, working is easy. We all want that.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh
but
yeah.
any bird life is a good thing this
Yeah.
time of year, even if they're just sitting.
Something that I always propose, even if they're not working, but they're sitting. You just go there and scan the area. It happens a lot of times to us where
Yeah.
the whole school is under those birds.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
with today's electronics, we can side image,
Oh
down
yeah.
image, live image. There's all kinds of images we can look at. Uh, I almost feel guilty using all that stuff, but you know what? It works good. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
it all helps.
So,
since
Colin, the
you
reason why this is a tough gig for a kayaker right now is
since you out there almost every day, Pete. So what kind of bunker we I that's something that I wonder what kind of bunker we have right now. Those bigger bunker, same thing, peanut bunker.
I've only seen 3 or 4 inch menhaden. I haven't seen. Now I take that back. I've once in a while earlier this winter I saw big menhaden, but mainly it was 3 to 4 inch menhaden that were getting
Okay.
demolished. Now just walking the dog. I live near Flag Harbor. I was out at the marina a couple days ago and the sun was shining, and I saw schools of menhaden in the marina. I was kind of surprised.
Wow.
There's also been some birds working near shore, but I mean near shore, like
Wow.
like peeing distance from shore.
like a foot of
So
water, right?
yeah, so the sun warmed it up and the bait was running through there, but there wasn't any fish in there. But in the marina, I saw a bunch of menhaden. I don't know. There was no fish on them, but I saw them. They're all 3 to 4 inches.
I got you.
Uh,
Good
Question
to
for
know.
you, Junior. Um, Sean Diggity, who's down in Florida, says, "What do you do during slower months, where cold or other weather keeps you from creating quality content, so you can continue growing during these times?"
Okay, that's a good question. It's stuff that I do sometimes. A lot. I'm saying. So when you have, bad weather, it's cold and all that, you cannot fish, sometimes your ponds or your rivers, they're frozen, all that. What you gotta do is just a lot of tutorials at home, but you gotta explain people every little thing on those tutorials. And believe me, sometimes those tutorials, they go viral. Sometimes they go viral. So yeah, just try to do work at home. Sometimes it's easier than go out and fish. Just try to do some tutorials. What I recommend people to do, just go to YouTube and check another people channels, check them tutorials, and try to do the same. You know, and like I said, sometimes those videos they go viral sometimes. Yeah. I have this video on my channel where I was showing people how to do a rig for bottom fishing it was a rig who to help you lost your hook in case you snag the bottom. I'm talking about rig for with bait and sinker and all that. I was showing people how to, in case you snag the bottom, you lost your hook, but you don't lost your sinker. I don't remember because that was a tutorial from years ago. But that tutorial went viral in so many countries. Argentina, Panama. I have people from different countries commenting this video. It was amazing. Like I said, tutorials they go viral a lot of times.
The other thing you can do during the winter is have two people on that know a lot about fishing, and people watch.
There you go. Yeah, that was right.
Uh, Fig asks, he says, I've been wondering how many fish can be under or around your boat not showing up on side scan or down scan. Does there
That's
need
a
to be a lot of fish in order to see marks? Pete, you want to take that one?
that's a good
I,
question.
I don't think there needs to be a lot of fish to see marks. If confidence has a lot to do with fishing and catching, if I don't see fish on my electronics, I don't have confidence. And so I move.
That's that's
Is
me.
it possible? Hell yeah, it's possible. But I don't know. I don't buy it. So I'm moving.
I agree with you, Pete. I think nowadays, if you're using a Solex or a really nice newer Helix, or other brands are good as well. But
Oh
you
yeah.
can mark individual fish on your side scan. Whereas it used to be when I first started fishing in this area, I would kayak fish with a little, Garmin Striker 4-inch screen, and yeah, I'd catch fish all the time that it didn't mark. But nowadays, it seems like you're not catching a whole lot of fish that you're not marking at all.
Correct. That's for me. That's for sure.
So this is a question from me to P. So when you, because I know you fish a lot, shorelines and all that. So
Yeah.
you scan all those shorelines, and even if it's a good spot or that spot produce a lot of fish for you, sometimes if you don't see fish with your side skin, you just keep going.
Good question, but you can't win the prize, man.
Yeah, it's
No, that's
ineligible.
a super good question. Back in the day when I had a Lowrance X75 monochrome hot superstar fish finder, it marked fish good under the boat, but I never saw anything on the sides, of course. I still fish the same way now as I did then, but I do it quicker. So here's what I do. I fish structure plus current. I don't just go to a shoreline and start slinging. There's got to be something significant that I'm looking at, like a chunk sticking out from the shoreline underwater that I know is there, stumps near there, a ledge, a rock pile.
Yeah,
So let's say I'm going along a shoreline that's got some of that stuff, or a wreck, or an old sod bank under the water. I'm going to side image it, and I'm going to have guys cast at the same time. And if I see fish, I get very, very excited. If I don't see fish, it doesn't mean there's not one tucked in somewhere where I'm not seeing it. So I will have guys cast, but maybe 2 or 3 casts each, and then we keep moving. If I'm
yeah,
not seeing and you're not catching, we're moving. So that's the answer to your question. I do fish it, but very, very short periods of
yeah,
time.
yeah. That's a good question. And I agree with you. I'll probably do the same. Yeah, you don't see fish, you just keep moving. Just try a couple times and keep moving, like you said. Yeah.
I I have endless things to do over there, so I could fish 10 days straight, 10 hours a day, 5 minutes a spot, never fish the same place twice. If Mother Nature was, perfect.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Pete, get another phone call.
No, no, I'm back. Okay.
Okay.
Should
Uh,
know my Ring doorbell went off.
oh, you just got too much going on.
Yeah.
Um, Pete, it looks like we got another one for you. Jason Penn. He's saying, any
Jason,
tips for fishing the plant respectfully and not ruining it for others?
sure. Yeah, nobody owns the plant. Running your boat like upstream to get a snag is very bad. If there's a bunch of boats and you just can't get your boat in edgewise, if you just can't move around well, or if you hate people, then just leave. That's what I do. I don't stay there. A lot of people have trolling motors now. So if there were five boats there, if there were five boats and three of them are spot locking halfway down the current, the other two boats can't fish. They really, unless they fish well out, and that's not where the fish might be. So the current trend with the power plant, if it's widespread, it's easy. Everybody can do it. So spot locking, not a good thing when there's a lot of boats there or a few boats. If there's a couple boats, you both can work together with the spot locking thing. But, and again, nobody owns it. So if somebody chooses to spot lock and somebody asks them nicely not to, they can flip you the bird and press on, and you know what? You got to adapt and overcome, which might be leave, blah, blah, blah. So, working together, not getting mad if somebody gets near you. The boat's going to turn around. Some boats are shaped different. So the eddies and the wind moves boats in different ways. So it's a place where you're going to have close contact, and you got to live with it. If you can't live with that, then you got to, don't go. That's
Yeah.
all. Be friendly, tip your hat. But yeah, running your boat up to get a snag is a big no-no. Playing loud music. I wasn't there, but a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday, apparently there was a boat or two playing real loud music. I mean, oh my God, I wouldn't have been there for that. But yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't do that either. But anyway, being friendly and just using common sense is probably the best thing I can tell you.
Junior, have you fished the power plant much?
yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah. There is a place where we catch a lot of fish. I didn't fish the plant this winter yet, but in summertime we catch a lot of fish there. Uh, some of my friends they've been telling me because I like to ask questions. It's something that I just like to do. When I have people like Pete who have a lot of experience, like Rob and all that, I ask a lot of questions. I like to learn. So I asked my friends because they used to go to the plant years ago a lot of times on the winter time, and they catch this cow. So I asked them how they jig and all that. Apparently, yeah, they do the same like the rest of the people, like 2 ounces, ounce and a half, straight tails, big 10-inch BKDs, hard jigs, and all that. But for me, it's something that and they told me you're gonna lose a lot of gear there, but you have the chance to catch a cow. But when I fish the plant, something that I do, and I'm not lying. I don't really lose tackle there. I like to tie the pirate tail. I don't know if I have one in here. Probably the 7 inchers pirate tails, chartreuse with
Yeah.
ounce and a half jig head, caster out and slow retrieve. Slow retrieve. I jig sometimes. Sometimes I switch to a straight tail, like this one here. And I just when I hard jig, but usually on the plant, I like to just cast and a slow retrieve with power tails, and that's how I catch my fish there. And I don't lose a lot of tackle fishing that way.
If you dragged bottom, you would. So you understand that, if you're catching fish there in the winter when the water's below 40 in the main stem of the bay, then the fish are down low. You must be near bottom, although you're not dragging bottom, or else you'd get snagged. If it was in the boulders, if you're outside the boulders, then that doesn't count there because you can get away with it. But you're putting it where the fish are, man. Paddle tail, straight tail, doesn't matter. But if you're putting it where the fish are and putting a little twitch on it, or the paddle's paddling,
Yeah,
you're going to catch them if they're there.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
my first few times fishing the power plant, I lost a lot of Pete's tackle.
no, did you? Okay. I don't remember that. It must not have been that bad.
You always get. That's why you always gave me the cheap jig heads
Well,
because
that's what I use there.
I would just lose it. I probably lost 10 pounds of your jig heads, but then I figured it out. Um,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
all it takes. A little figure, a little feel, a little figuring out, a little experience. There's different ways to do it there. Many guys do it different ways, and everybody, some guy, blah, blah, blah. That's where the debate comes there is how do you do it? What's the right way? There is none. You just be kind to everybody and make it happen. Do the best you
well,
can.
That's what I
And
always say
it's
about.
not very good there. If somebody makes a long trip from somewhere to go there, it can suck. But it also can be great. You just never know. You don't know until you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I don't know. I completely agree. I think we get, when the water's really cold like that, everyone flocks there. And I mean, I think you said it best. Don't go. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
I
Don't
don't
go.
particularly like fishing the power plant.
Yeah,
So if the water's below, 42, 43 degrees and they're not going to be anywhere else but the bay, sorry, but the power plant, I
yeah.
just won't go. But now also have the luxury of living, 4 minutes from the boat ramp. So, you know,
I live, I live 60 seconds from Flag Harbor, and my boat's in Flag Harbor, so I can go check twice a day, barely burn any gas. I'm not going to guide there or anywhere unless I've got something going on. I'm beyond the point of desperateness. I could not fish the whole year. I'd be fine. But I'll go out there and check. I love it. I'll go out there with neighbors. And then if something's happening, I might try to drum up a trip. But I'd rather have the main stem of the bay. Last year, we barely fished the plant because the main stem worked. And now the main stem's a little weak. So the plant for some folks is it. And that's fine. But again, you don't know until you go, and it's not been consistent.
yeah. Well, guys, we have a little bit of time left. If you have questions that you want to be considered for question of the night or that you want to have answered, go ahead and start asking them. We do have a question coming in from our fellow guide on the bay, Travis Long. He says, "Will Ovechkin break the goal record?" What do you think?
Uh, he knows. He knows my wife loves Ovechkin.
Oh,
So
she already answered.
yeah.
Charlotte already answered. Charlotte
Oh,
already said, "I don't
no,
think so, Travis."
no. Yeah, I don't either. He's incredible and been amazing, but he's getting older, and that's no young. That's a young man's game, and that's a lot of goals to get yet. So I don't think so. What do you
Uh,
think, Travis? What do you think?
yeah,
Did he answer?
I don't follow hockey, but when I saw that question, I didn't ask myself, is he still playing? I asked myself, is Ovechkin still alive? Because
See, I
man,
thought my
like,
wife would say he will do it because she is overly optimistic about that, but
well,
maybe I've reeled her into reality with
yeah,
Ovechkin.
she says, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Junior, what do you yeah, uh, Charlotte's giving me a hard time about asking if he's still alive. Uh, Junior, uh, for the YouTube channel, you have any plans to add any new content, any direction you want to take the channel in the next year or so?
Definitely, definitely this year I wanna, work a little harder on my channel, posting more, doing different trips, probably different places like I don't know, the other banks, Florida. I'm planning to do like, 'cause a lot of people has been asking me for tournaments, fishing tournaments from the bank. I did this already 2 times, and it was a good time. I have like I don't know 30 anglers. It was awesome. So this is probably the plan for us this year, doing more tournaments for the people. We have a lot of fun, Plus, um, the one who catch the bigger fish, it takes all the money. I think the last tournament it was like around 1,000 on this tournament from the bank.
thousand
Talking,
dollars?
yeah, yeah.
What
Actually,
am I doing?
uh,
I should be fishing these tournaments.
right?
I don't
Yeah,
even have to burn boat gas, man.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, let me tell you something about this tournament. I have like 30 anglers and all that. Um, so I told them, biggest fish catch all the. Takes all the money. It was like probably May, or August, something like. I think it was May last year. I don't remember exactly. It was hard. It was hard. Nobody was having bites, and I was fishing too, but I wasn't on the tournament because I don't, you know, I was the one who was making all this tournament. So I decided to don't go to the tournament. I just made for the tournament for them. So nobody catch anything that morning. It was very slow. Nobody catch anything from the shoreline. And I was the one who caught like 3 fish that day. So it was very slow. But it was like, yeah, close to $1,000 on the tournament. I gotta
So
return all the
you
money
tell
to
you
the
would have won $1,000 had you been in the tournament.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Coulda,
But
shoulda, woulda, right there.
yeah, but like I said, I'm the one who's making this tournament. I don't know how I'm gonna look if I win the tournament. I don't know. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's not a good look. That's not a good. It's kind of like when Pete takes customers fishing and he catches all the fish.
I don't do that.
right.
Only
Yeah,
if you're on the boat, Grant.
Well, when
yeah, but
I'm on the boat, Pete hooks him and hands him to me. And he's like, "You want to reel this in?" I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Hey,
I bring
Junior,
some.
many
Uh-huh.
times on the boat, I'll get folks out there that aren't that in tune with putting their bait where it needs to be and all that. And I will be coaching, not yelling, Grant. Don't be a sissy. Where I'll say, hey, let me see your rod. Let me see your rod. And as soon as they hand me the rod, I'm feeling for the bottom. If we're doing a bottom type structure thing, uh, and I'll open the bail, close the bail, tick the bottom, pop, pop, bam, fish on, and hand them the pole. It's just all about, they don't get it, but it takes practice. And with your tutorials, that's
I,
great to put on YouTube.
I
It'll help teach folks right off the YouTube. It's hard to get on a boat. You can only teach a couple people at a time on a boat. Your YouTube thing can teach a whole bunch.
I'll try. I'll try. I think biggest thing with the jigging and stuff and all that is, connect your connect probably your I don't know if it's your mind or your how you think where these fish at with your jig. You gotta have that connection with your jig head.
That's right, man.
If
Envision.
I
Envision.
can if we marking fish on the bottom, I can close my eyes, drop it down, and just feel the bottom, and you're gonna catch those fish. You gotta always contact, you know, you will always have to have that connection with your jig. It's
Yep,
something that yeah.
no doubt.
I think I have a hard time with that. Honestly, I've gotten better as time has gone on, but when I'm jigging in, 50 feet of water, I have a hard time envisioning where that bait is. All I can tell is, I can feel that thump when it hits the bottom. But in terms of like really envisioning how that jig looks to fish, I think when it's that deep, I struggle with it. My comfort zone is probably when fish are in 15 feet of water or less, and I can snap a jerk bait in front of their face. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good way. But you know what? When they're in 50 feet and they're down there suspended, maybe 40 feet down, I always tell people detect the bottom, let it down. Keep letting it fly. You're gonna notice, even if you don't feel it, you're gonna notice the jig slows down. I let the line run through my finger at full speed. If I cast it out, then that's a different animal. But if you're just dropping down, I let it fly. I let the line fly through my finger at full speed, and when it hits, it changes its speed. And you hit bottom, click the bail and start working, and then you work it up through the water column. But you got to work
Yeah,
it with confidence, Grant. That's what you got to do.
be
yeah.
confident. I fully, there's so much. I'm not like a psychologist or anything, but there's got to be a lot of psychology behind confidence in catching fish because to me, it's, if nothing else, it's the fact that when you're confident and expecting to catch a fish, you're not caught off guard when a fish
Yeah.
actually bites.
When you get Debbie Downer with a fishing pole in her hand, they don't catch fish.
They don't.
Something
Debbie
that
Downer does not catch fish. So
for me,
you,
I
you
think the
yeah,
hardest fish for me to catch probably is the your suspended fish.
yeah.
And I always drop it down and start working my way up, jigging. But if that didn't work for me, something that I do and it works very well is same thing, drop it down, but this time a pirate tail and just reel it in slow
Yeah.
all the way to the top, and it works. It works
Yeah,
too.
you're actually hitting on something that I've talked to several people about recently, and I don't know if this is something that's, you know, uh, that's working for this particular bite or these particular fish, but a lot of guys are not snap jigging right now. A lot of guys are throwing a paddle tail, letting it sink, and just working, slow rolling it,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
doing
they
it.
love that. They love that. I'll do that a lot. Like the plan for the suspended fish. Another when I try that too is when we have these birds working, they disappear. But I know we have fish, a lot of fish suspended because they've been on the surface for like minutes ago. So it's gotta be fish around it. It's when I try again with my power tail, I cast it out and a slow retrieve, and yeah, that works very well too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, you're staying here this year. You're not going down to Florida again. I think.
Nah, I'm not going to Florida, but the great state of Maryland wants every guy to move.
Good grief! Yeah, I mean, I guess we can get into that. I mean, it's
It's depressing, man.
from a guide's perspective. How are you feeling about what you're hearing on the street?
Well, they're apparently they being the two senators or I mean people from the Eastern Shore politicians just put forth a proposal for closing March and April all the way to May something for catch and release, even though, we don't kill those fish in cold water, but there's some watermen out there that are just violently mad that guys can go catch and release and they're losing 7% of their quota. Oh, it's disgusting. But there's other things to fish for. Adapt and overcome. Personally, I'll be fine. But it sucks. That's for sure, and it's wrong on every level as far as I'm concerned. Um, yeah, I mean, I go on and on. But we're not killing the fish. That's the thing. We're not killing the fish. We get to participate, and we're not killing the fish. So they're going to take away 100% of what we can do at certain times. And I agree, in hot water there shouldn't be catching and releasing, but in cold water, oh my God, we're not killing those fish.
Yeah,
And yeah,
Pete, if somebody wants to get behind that message that you're sharing right now, what would be a good idea for them to do? I mean, how can someone have their voice be heard?
well, the DNR, there's I sitting here right now in this chair, I can't really tell you that. Um, but what I could do is find out exactly what to do and put it on my Facebook page or on my Four Seasons page.
Okay.
Greg Shute is involved a lot in that. He knows the game of what's going on with the politics. So Greg Shute, who's a guide, I Fish Maryland. If you go to I Fish Maryland, he probably has stuff on his page right now, but he's all in on fighting that stuff, and he articulates things well. And he's a good proponent for that, as far as I can see. The CCA should certainly be. So, we'll see. We can look at the CCA site and look and see what they're doing. It's just a proposal at this point to kill, catch, and release in March and April and in May, half of May.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of
it's
CPA, maybe we'll have David Sikorsky back on at some point to
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of answer these questions because
Now with these new proposals, Dave would be a great guy to communicate with because that is what he does. That is
yeah,
what he does.
that's
I'm on the water and I know what we don't kill out there, and he's off the water and he knows what's going on with the political aspect of it all, and he articulates that crap perfectly and can help me and guys like me and you understand what's going on. So yeah,
it's hard to understand. And
yeah,
we've talked about this a lot, but like
yep,
these
yep.
big fish are swimming off strong. The one of the things that I say all the time. Apparently, Ovechkin just scored, so maybe he will. Get that record. But I've said it numerous times: is these fish have heads that are this big. Even
Yeah.
in the rare case where they get hooked deeply, you can stick your arm down there and free them with
Yeah.
no blood, no problem. So
Okay, I had a lot of large fish this winter. We didn't we didn't gill hook one fish. Not one giant striper got gill hooked. Not one. And we caught a lot. Not one got gill hooked. Not one got dropped on its head. Not one got hit with a sledgehammer. They all got revived. If the state of Maryland would do a little educational something and make people do it, um, catch and release would be a wonderful thing. It would be great for all the businesses. It's like the commercial entity doesn't want anybody to touch those fish until they do. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it
And they
definitely doesn't
kill
make
them.
sense to
They
me.
want to.
So,
Yeah.
guys, yeah, reach out to it's David Sikorski at CCA Maryland, and he's always great to answer questions. You can find him on Facebook or through CCA. But we are at that time of night. Pete, did you remember a question that you thought would be worthy of question of the night?
Well, that very first one, but is the very first one I answered was a good question. But is there any chance you can remind me? Because I can't scroll. I can't see them.
No, it's no problem. The one from Fig, the one about changing lures, jig heads, plastic.
Yeah, that's a great. I love that question. Yeah.
All right, so Fig, you are in the running for question of the night, and mine.
Let's see.
I like this one from Sean Diggity. What do you do during slower months where cold or other weather keeps you from creating content to continue growing your channel throughout those times?
That's a fixed question because he's he's a
He's a
I know he likes
YouTuber.
that question, don't you? Don't you, Junior? That's a good question, though. That's
I
a
mean,
great
it's
question.
like,
See, what usually happens in these cases, though, Fig, Pete, is when you do that reverse psychology on someone, and like,
Yeah.
oh, you're definitely going to pick that question. They
Yeah.
choose the other one not to be predictable.
Okay. Well, wow.
So, Junior, it is your choice between Sean Diggity's question, which is, what do you do as a YouTuber during the slow months, and
I think
Robert Figliozzi, which is how important is it to change lures?
definitely
Jughead, right?
both questions are, very important because they're like two totally different things. One is about fishing, another about YouTube and all that. I think both of them are very great questions, but this time I think we're going with the second one, um, with the one with Grant, trying to help him out.
During the winter months.
Yeah, because like I said, he probably trying to grow his channel or probably start a channel. I don't know, but
It's a good
that
question.
is what
Yeah.
I think it's gonna help a lot if he at least try that. Like start work on tutorials and all that. It's gonna help him a lot.
Excellent. Well, Sean, I know you're down in Florida, so I'm not going to send you 12-inch OG eels from Old School Tackle Company. I don't think you get a whole lot of use out of that. But what I will do is Brian from Old School Tackle Company is sending me a new stock of prizes, and we're going to send you some smaller gear that'll be really fine-tuned for your Florida fishery down there. So,
You
Sean,
know,
congratulations on prize of the night. Guys, if you've won prizes over the last, I think, 2 weeks, I'll be sending all of those tomorrow. So you should receive those in the next couple of days. Pete, if somebody wants to book a trip, what do they do?
Hell, I don't know. Facebook. You can go to my Facebook page, which it's Four Seasons Guide Service, FOUR Seasons Guide Service, or just text me or call me at 703-395-9955. That's all. It's easy peasy.
And
before we
Junior, how does
I'm saying
I was
before we
going to say,
leave, I
how does
want to
someone
share
find
some.
out about your YouTube channel?
Okay, yeah. Like I said, La Pasión por la Pesca, you have the write down somewhere here in one of these comments, La Pasión por la Pesca. You can check me out on Instagram, The Passion of Fishing is where I post all my adventures, like pictures and all that. The Passion of Fishing on Instagram, La Pasión por la Pesca, YouTube, and Facebook, same thing, La Pasión por la Pesca, Facebook, and also TikTok. Yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. Guys, everyone in the audience, thank you guys for the questions. Next week, I believe, is the freshwater edition. Junior, you could have probably done the freshwater edition too. Don't you do a lot of freshwater fishing?
Yeah, especially this time of the year, crappies, jello perch, white perch, pea craw, and all that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. I might.
Maybe we'll have you back again another time to do
Yeah.
the.
Before we leave, I wanna share some of my favorite, striper lures that I use most of the time. That way, maybe people wonder what kind of stuff I like to use, and I have some of them in here. It's gonna be quick. Of course, we have our Siemens. This one in here. This is a 3/4 of the ounce with a 5-inch chartreuse Siemens plastic. I love this thing in here. This
that
one
looks
in here.
like that Cole Langley made. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I like to
a lot of fish.
cold-blooded, but
I don't know.
Looks pretty.
yeah, it does.
Yeah. All green. Your Boston baits. You catch a lot of fish with this. Where's the camera at? Somewhere here. Your basic stuff. This 1.5 ounces for the deeper water.
Is that a BKD?
No, I think this one in here is a Boston bait.
Okay.
Yeah, and your big KDs for the big rockfish, your 10-inchers. Nothing crazy, stuff that everybody uses in the bay. Just bigger baits. Yeah. Some of the stuff that I like to use. Probably my favorite plastics, the ones that I use all the time, your Siemens, BKDs, and your Boston baits. Yeah, that's it.
Well, they are providing us a tutorial on the baits that you use. Good stuff.
And you always have to have your meadows, your meadow jigs. I love those things.
Yeah.
Especially for the deeper water, 50, 60 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. I also always think that a metal jig is a great jig to give a beginner fisherman because it gets down and you can feel bottom better than anything else. But
I like it because it gets down right now.
It gets down real fast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But guys, we are out of time. Junior, thanks so much. You are the man
Thank you.
as always. Pete, thank you so much for taking the time out and sharing your knowledge. And guys, everyone at home, thank you much. Thank you so much for the questions and for watching. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you next week for the freshwater edition.
Grant, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
I have all the questions in the world for Pete, but one more. What do you think about the sea bass fishing right now, Pete?
Sea bass this year was pretty good. I mean, people caught them up the bay, down the bay. The whole trick was hard structure, whether it be a wreck or rock piles, or deep structure. And yeah, it was good. And you plugged them up pretty good on my boat that day. That little bit of time we did it, and we put some special sauce on that jig. What was that sauce anyway?
It was the how's called it?
Crab flavored.
Oh yeah, crab flavor. But I was talking about like right now. What do you think about the bite right now?
Pete? I don't think about it right now.
Okay.
I haven't. I tried it a little bit in December and it just stopped. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you use bait, you might have a chance, like bait.
All right.
But I don't know. I don't know if
that's there. It. Okay.
Yep. All right.
Well, good stuff.
It was a great time. It was a great time. Thanks for inviting me, and I hope I fish with you soon, Pete, again.
All right, buddy. Me too. Makes it easy for me. All right. Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista. There you go.